Intuitive You with Abby Gooch, where you can discover more about your innate ability to heal and create a life you love by activating the power of your intuition. And now, your host, Abby Gooch.
All right, welcome to Intuitive You. This is Abby Gooch, and I am so glad you are here this morning. This is such a fun new thing to do, and we're finally getting the technology down, so I'm super, super excited. So this morning I have a very, very special guest. This amazing woman, man, she is just, I have been working with her for probably years. She's been a family friend for a very, very long time. And she's one of those people that, she makes such a huge imprint on your life. And so once you meet her once, it's like she's in your heart forever. And so I just wanted to have her on the show and introduce her. And her name is Beverly Montgomery. And she's just, like I said, an incredible person. And she works with energy. So she's an energy healer. She lives near San Francisco, she was telling me, and just so many other great things. So Beverly, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm really honored, really humbled.
You're so sweet. So tell me, how did you get into this work and what really guided you to start connecting with your intuition?
Oh boy. Well, I grew up in East Oakland, a
Okay.
really rough neighborhood. So really, good, like the first 10, 12 years of my life were just, stress, like just chronic stress. When I was at about 8, I got really ill. I had a lot of stomach problems. And at some point, I want to say when I was around 10, my father gave me a book of herbs, just out of nowhere. I had been really in and out of the hospital, I don't even know, probably 20 times. My father gave me this book of herbs, and I read the book from cover to cover, and I started making medicines. And I was able to heal my stomach at a really young age. So then I started making medicines for the family and for friends, and it just evolved, really from there. I've studied probably every form of alternative medicine, that's been available, and even now, there's new stuff coming out. So I'm constantly sort of looking at all the new things that are happening with real medicine, with alternative medicine, with energy healing, right? They're, now scientists are like, yeah, there's something to this energy thing. Like, yes, there is. So, but I have an incredible intuition. So, and, since I was really little, I could, definitely read people's energy, feel what they were feeling. I'm really sensitive, but also just, really loving. So it's really my love that is transformative.
Yeah, that's what I remember about you, is it's just like this calming presence that just like all is well. And that's actually, I sent out a newsletter to my list, and I was like, there's just this presence that I believe you activate in everyone by just being you. And I think that's the beauty of intuition, is like when we really are in our intuition, we're fully being ourselves. And that's a gift to the planet, right? Because we're sharing that love. So for you, you bring this beautiful presence, this essence of love, and that activates people's gifts. So how is the way that you connect to your intuition? Like, what's that? Do you have a process or a way that you connect in?
Well, now it's, just such an automatic thing. There was definitely a time where I think I practiced that sort of mindfulness more. There's what is called conscious competence. And it's when, our conscious mind, so when the conscious mind, subconscious mind are working as one, we don't have to think anymore about, those different things about us that we're just so aligned with it. It's such a natural process. But I think, especially for people that are still maybe trying to connect to their intuition, like boundaries are so huge.
Wow.
Because it's really difficult to figure out what your intuition is if we're so easily affected by other people's energy and by what other people are doing. So that was one thing that I really worked on for years, was learning not to let others affect me so much, because I was so sensitive, cleaning all of that up so that it's like, okay, this is my energy, right? This
Right.
feels really, really good. And this is the vibration that I'm going to be holding.
Huh. I love that. So if you'd be willing, and you can say no, but I was wondering if you'd be open to helping people set their own energetic boundaries so they can feel themselves. Because I agree with you. I know both myself and a lot of people I work with, and even just friends, are very empathetic, right? They're very sensitive. And so it's like, how can we have those boundaries that actually contain or keep our energy? Maybe not contain it, but keep us feeling connected to ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to do a little something right now with that?
Sure, whatever you want. I'm super interactive, so I'm like, whatever works.
Okay. So, well, everyone talks about the gut, right? That and I think when someone, let's say, negative comes into our space, a lot of us get hit in the stomach by it, right? That a lot of people feel energy come in, and that's because the solar plexus is designed that way.
Hmm.
But the stomach and the solar plexus is designed to filter, to take in energy. But we have a choice as to what we allow in and out. But if we're not paying attention, we're just sucking energy. We can just unconsciously be sucking energy in through the solar plexus that we don't even realize that we're doing. So a really great way to start is by, everybody can pick a color, like their favorite color, and it can be a color that's beyond this world too. Okay. And this color now represents just really just this very loving, powerful energy for you. Okay. And you're going to surround your whole being with that particular color. Okay. Good. And now this color, it has a vibration to it, so it pulses. Okay. So this color is now a part of the outer part of your energy field. Okay. It even has a texture to it. Okay. And this new field of energy serves as a frequency that is a protector. Okay. But the vibration is so high, it's so beautiful, it's so powerful, that it naturally deflects energy that isn't of it. So if the energy is not loving, if it's not kind, if it's not what you want to receive, then that energy has to go back to the source that it came from. Okay. Good. So we're left with our own energy that we choose to feel, that we want to have inside of us. And energy going back to others that I think also very unconsciously sort of sending it out, that's not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, we all have to be responsible for our energy. And this is something that happens especially like with codependent relationships, where we're taking in that toxic energy, and then that other person doesn't even have to deal with it, because we're right there, to process it for them, and then we don't feel good. But if we have that love and that light surrounding us, and our vibration is high, then the energy itself has to go somewhere else. It can't come into our field, which is really, really a big deal. And then also, I think the person, let's say if we've been sort of taking on energy for someone for a long time, and we start to release that old connection, now they get to learn what they need to learn, because their energy is there for them to deal with and not someone else. So it's a very powerful process. Some people are afraid for that other person to have to deal with their energy, but really it's a gift. And people will find it's like, wow, I'm not taking that on anymore. I feel so much better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I just did it. I mean, I'd be curious what everybody else experienced as far as their color, but mine was rainbow. And I know since I moved here, like I started literally seeing rainbows like with my third eye and actually in the physical world. And then right before our interview, I was coming up from the beach and I literally saw like it looked like little purple dots of flowers up the trail, but they weren't actually physically there, but I kept seeing them. And I thought, wow, I'm being protected, right? So color starts to follow you and just be around you. And I feel like it's one of the most healing things to bring color in because it holds vibration. So that's just really fun. It was really powerful for me. Thank you. Wow, that's such a good.
Welcome. Well, I'd like to say, rainbows are so powerful because they represent miracles.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so the fact that you're seeing these rainbows is letting you know that there are so many miracles that are about to materialize in your life and that have already materialized.
Yeah.
So that constant reminder, and that full spectrum of color is also so powerful.
Yeah.
So wow, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's cool. And even for like, I mean, for months I've been seeing them. There has been tons of miracles. And there's literally like, on the sidewalk, how they have a little like imprints or whatever on the sidewalk. And it says miracle on it. Like, it's kind of like I'm walking on miracles. So yeah, it really is fun. And I think, it's the courage to follow your intuition, right? So if I didn't follow my intuition here and you actually were a catalyst in that, it's like, go for it. It's like to trust that knowing. And even if you get afraid, if there's that knowing, if there's that gut feeling that it's a yes, then it's go for it. If not, I mean, in contrast, the last few days I had a stomach ache and it was like, actually don't go that direction. Right. So it was like very clear guidance that, if you're feeling sick to your stomach or you kind of get that like gut punch, it's like, yeah, don't go there. But when you get that expansive yes, and you're surrounded by rainbows, like, go for it, right? And it just makes sense, right? Like it's so natural if you think about like intuition is so practical. It's like do what feels good, move away from what doesn't.
Exactly.
You have joy. Totally.
Yeah, but we have to practice. We have to practice it, especially when we really subconsciously have been so used to doing things that don't feel good.
Mm.
So it's about the awareness. Like some people wonder like, why am I repeating this particular thing over and over again? And it's just because there's an unresolved energy in there, and almost always emotions. And once you get to be able to just recognize it, it's like, oh, that's why I'm feeling this, or that's why this keeps happening. That awareness is enough to shift it. So bringing just awareness to it is like, okay, now I can move on from it.
I love that. And I feel like that's one of the things you're so good at is like resolving those emotional things and just kind of bringing like a peace and equilibrium. So I invite everybody to reach out to Bev, and we'll be talking a little bit more about it. Is there an email people can reach out to you at if they wanted to do some deeper work of just really getting those emotions resolved and also realizing that you don't have to do anything you don't want to, right? So to kind of have that awareness. But is there a way they can contact you, Bev?
Sure. My email is B as in boy, Montgomery. So MONTGOMERY 888 at yahoo.com.
Nice. That's very cool. And yeah, I just recommend reaching out and just, having a conversation and seeing if you can set something up with her. Cause it's been so transformative for me to just like really find those like openings, right? So wherever that congestion was, to find the opening, and that creates a freedom within that you then have an experience of more freedom in your actual life, right? So I think it's really beautiful. Let's see. So as we have these, boundaries, we can feel our essence and our energy. And then this morning on this beach walk, I was thinking, all right, like every day is a new day. Like, what do I want to create today? So just moving into that creation mode, like once we have our essence and our energy, it's like from this place, what do we want to create? So I think your company name might be Loving Realities, right? So it's kind of like, really like moving from that space of love and creating from that space. Do you have anything you want to share about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's been about, is helping people create loving realities. Yeah. And this is such a powerful time because oh my God, we have so much we have so much contrast right now with everything that's happening globally and everything that's happening politically. It's like a lot of people are sort of just on one side or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this massive contrast that I think we're all trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
But really, self-love, right? If we can have self-love and then share that with others, that's going to get us everywhere we want to go.
Mm-hmm.
The energy that we're generating, the feelings and emotions that we're holding, if I'm wasting my energy hating something or someone, it may seem like, it may seem like somehow I'm managing them or I'm going to move them out the way because I'm hating them. But really, I'm hating myself because my cells are now vibrating with that frequency that I'm generating. And so we want, if we don't like something, and we don't maybe have a way in the moment to deal with it, I always recommend tabling it, or putting it on the shelf. So you can imagine that there's a table or a shelf, to the left or right of you, and that you just kind of set that issue there until you're ready to actually look at it in a more loving way.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're hating something, there might be something about us that we hate. So it can have a few different dynamics to it, but this is a powerful time. Like, time has sped up now. We can create and manifest things very, very quickly, good or bad. So it's important that we really focus on what we want and not what we don't want. Because we are magnets, right? And our energy is the magnetism that draws our creative force to us. So let's create loving, right, calm,
Loving reality.
Yes, please. And I'm happy to help in any way that I can, because it's a joy. I think about when I first met you, you're young. And I was so blown away by your abilities. And so I knew that, I was just an instrument, in those little moments that we had where, you were already bringing this incredible dynamic to the world and to the planet at such a young age. And I was like, wow, look out, because she's going to be so powerful. And here you are, and
I love it. Sorry, go ahead. I went out to dinner with my girlfriend the other day, and we literally blew the waiter away. He was like, "Whoa, you guys are like too powerful! Like, I'm scared of you." It was so funny. We're like, "Sorry, we just have a lot of light. We're excited to see each other." So it's like it could be a good thing, right? Like, I feel like, and by the end of the conversation, like, I tipped him well, and it was good, but it was just like the light. And I think sometimes the light maybe can be frightening to people, but it doesn't have to be, right? Because like you said, if you come at it from that place of love, that if there is any hate, there's like a little sign outside the street. It says like something like walk away from hate and unite in unity. And I just love that, because it's like, if we can just, like you said, table it and maybe turn another way and find the loving perspective, because I totally have things in my life that I don't necessarily like, man, I wish that person would do something different, but I can't change that person. So I'm like, I get to practice like, okay, so how can I love this, right? Which has been a practice. Like I said, the last few days, I was like, I want to go there. And it's like, nope. So I'm like, okay, let me get a new perspective, right? So sometimes I think it is a new perspective, because like I want to be in harmony, right? So I think the only way to do that is to create from a loving foundation. And like you said, I do believe there is something to be said about resolving it within ourselves, right? So like, even if we don't agree with, I mean, there's plenty of things I don't agree with that other people do, but it's like, well, okay, how can I be at peace with me? Right? Because again, I can't control them. I don't know if you want to speak to that, but that's kind of some dynamics I'm working with.
Yeah, no, that's really good. I mean, yeah, we're, at the end of the day, we're all interconnected. And that's why we're sensitive to each other, and some aren't, right? Some people aren't sensitive. Like, some people are disconnected from their sensitivities. And that's hard for us sensitive people to cope with. But when I was mentioning earlier about this, the contrast that we're having with the good and the bad, it's all coming together, right? The more people that raise their vibration, the more of us that are being loving and kind around those that aren't, they have to transform. There really is no choice, because love is the most powerful frequency in the universe. There is nothing more powerful than love. This is why, some of the greatest people that walk this planet chose nonviolence. They chose, love as the way to transform, the destructive behaviors that were happening around them. And it is because, if I fight hate with hate, I'm going to get more hate. I just am. I mean, that's law of physics. Every reaction begets a new reaction, a stronger reaction. So now if two people have hate and it clashes, now that's stronger. Now that hate has magnified greatly. But if I bring love to it, it dissolves. It has no choice. Energy doesn't disappear or go away, but it definitely transforms. And I believe, really strongly within my being, my ability to transform energy. And we all have those abilities. It's just that we weren't taught that like we should have been. Ugh, I won't, talk about it too much, but the school system, ugh,
Well, what's happening in the world?
yeah,
Like, the school system isn't really happening.
Why weren't we taught about, relationships? Why aren't we taught about our bodies more? Why don't we simply taught about the chakra system? Like pretty much everybody knows now that there's a chakra system on our body, these 7 energy centers that go from the pelvis to the crown of the head. This is a big deal. Like, we absorb energy and light through this system. Our cells have to have this light. And we should know these things. We have a natural ability to be everything we're supposed to be. But when we get taught, to be repetitive and do things over and over again, it squashes our creativity.
Yeah.
So we want freedom, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we're going to get.
Yeah.
Right. That's where we're all headed. And the more of us that believe that, the quicker we get there.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, I promise I didn't tell Bev to say this, but going off what you just said about the chakra system, if y'all want to go to www.theintuitivechild.co, I have a whole system for children on the chakras,
Oh,
how to basically be that, right? So again, it's www.theintuitivechild.co. Because my guide started speaking to me, they're like, hey, listen, like, that's what we do with orphanages too. We teach this process because it's like, hey, like, your kids, the kids of the world, like all of us, we have the answers in us. So when you activate these chakras, bam, you are your highest potential. So, I still believe if you want to like learn to read and write and do math, great, do that. But it's like, be who you are first and have those, nurturing relationships and just energy, to learn about energy first and foremost, like, my mom, like, she's just like, everything's energy, and it's like, that's a thought, then manifest. So it's like, yeah, like, what are you manifesting? Like, where is the energy starting? It's within you. And when you have that support and those chakras, I mean, they basically are like vortexes of energy, they just open up, the truth is there. So I don't know if you want to share more on that, but it's just, it's so beautiful, because I feel like that spectrum is shifting, because people are like, oh, well, this is happening for some higher reason. So people are open, right? Like, yeah,
well, I mean, thank you for having that information, because our children, they need it desperately. We're being bombarded by so much energy, right now. And, we have the whole 5G and, all this extra electromagnetic energy that it takes a toll on us. It really does. And so, God, when you can teach a child or an adult, just anybody, about, their chakra system, they can do so much with just that one tool. So, because every chakra is connected to the organs and the glands of that area. I mean, it's a really big deal. It's not that it's like it's just this woo-woo thing. I mean, it legitimately, when you take the sunlight in through the front of your body, each chakra brings that sunlight in. It brings that energy in, and it's very healing on a very deep level, because your cells at the end of the day communicate through light transmissions called biophotons. And so if we're not getting sun, then what's happening to the chakra system? Then what's happening to all the organs and glands? And what's interesting too with the whole COVID thing is a lot of people stopped getting in the sun, and so depression, because nobody's absorbing vitamin D. And so it's a huge deal. So today, if you've got some sun available, by all means, hey, 15 minutes, just bask in it, enjoy it, absorb it. Tell me how you feel. That just one thing will be so good. So good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing that comes to mind, Bev, is nature. Like this painting is actually hand painted from somewhere in Bali, and it just reminds me of like getting outside, like the purity actually of love, because like jasmine flowers are just amazing, and just nature, like putting our feet in the earth, breathing the ocean air, the forest air. Like like wherever you live, if you step outside the house, like you're going to be in nature. Like there's going to be nature around you, and breathing that in, that life force, it rejuvenates ourselves, it puts us back into harmonic alignment with our natural state of being, even the rhythm of
Yeah,
nature.
absolutely. Yeah, because if I live close to a power line, or I live close to a cell phone tower, okay, then that electromagnetic energy is constantly hitting against my being.
Yeah.
And now my cells are vibrating at an erratic vibration. So now I'm not feeling well because of the electromagnetic disturbance. But when you get back in nature, like you just described, that's called earthing. That's what we call earthing. And now your body can come back. All the cells in your body can come back to the vibration that they need to be at. Oh, and the other thing is that every cell in the body vibrates a different frequency. But when you get in nature, nature's so beautiful, and it's our divine connection. It will balance each and every cell back to the frequency that it needs to be in.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense why I love running too, like a physical activity. I kind of feel like it kind of clicks me back into gear. So if you have some kind of like physical activity, maybe it's walking for you, whatever it is, I feel like it does kind of kick you back into gear. It's funny what you say about power lines. I think a couple of times I've lived, maybe at least twice, near that, and I could feel it, and it literally would like, it's almost like you're being electrocuted. Like, I mean, I'm really sensitive, but I was just like, whoa, And so where I am now is very grounded, but yeah, it's different. So know what's around you. Earth. Go to
Earth. Yes, earth and sun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are there some daily practices or things you do to stay connected? So I know you work with a lot of clients and have a family. So it's like, throughout your day, how do you stay connected?
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. I, big on water. So staying hydrated is huge. A lot of people are, drinking things that, maybe they shouldn't. So even if you just start drinking more water, that can be huge. The brain really needs to be hydrated. And so yeah, water's a big thing. I practice with homeopathy. So I do have my go-to remedies, especially if I've had, more so of a stressful day. So I use those. I use aromatherapy. And I do earthing. So I do get out every day and walk, and I, hug the trees. And, the days that I don't do it, I notice a huge difference. Like if I don't do it, it's, I don't feel good. So I make sure that I show up to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Find those ways, for you. So everybody might have a different practice, but just kind of take a moment, maybe just to tune into yourself and notice, what are the things I do that make me feel more connected? Maybe even just putting a hand on your heart, the other hand on your gut, and just noticing what brings you back into alignment. For me, it's going on the beach, literally having my feet in the ocean. Maybe for you, it's putting your bare feet on the ground in the grass, like whatever it is, notice those places of connection and then keep coming back there, right? Just keep coming back. And that grows that center point of your energy. And then that's your inner confidence, right? That's your intuition and it grows. And then when you take action from that place, you get results almost instant, right? Because you're in alignment with you.
Yeah. Yeah. The key thing is use your tools, right? And if you don't have some, create some. And even and even if you start with one, right? Even if you just start drinking more water and you do the sunshine for 15 minutes every day. If you just start somewhere and then you start asking yourself those questions like, what feels good to me? What do I love? What brings me joy? And figuring out, because some of us, we haven't asked those questions, so we have no idea what the answers are yet.
Mhm.
But when you ask, it'll be given.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
you know
yeah. Sorry, I gotta see my cup. It says choose joy. Because it's a little reminder. And it's like, I remember I taught a whole seminar on that once to a hospice about what gives you joy. Like it was just a whole thing just on that, because it's like moving your frequency to that place. Kira, she's the founder of Oneness Talk Radio. And I remember one time she told me, she was like, just be you and be happy, because that's what the world needs, right? Because if you think about it, when we all choose to be happy, we're radiating that, like you said, right? So it's like, that filling ourselves up with that self-love and being that beam of light, and maybe it'll scare your waiter away, but eventually they'll come back around.
That's funny. Yeah, that's so cute.
So,
Yeah. I'll say this because I know life has been really hard for a lot of people, especially this year. And this has actually been a really difficult year for me too. I've had one of my sons, just been really ill and in out of the hospital. And I made a choice. So before I was kind of dealing with it, but I wasn't dealing with it. And it was just taking me down. And this year when I saw, okay, we're still not quite through this, I made a decision that no matter how it got, I was going to maintain my frequencies. I was going to maintain feeling good. I just made that commitment to myself. It made such a difference because I have a choice.
right.
You know, a lot of us are going through very painful and difficult things, challenging things. But if we realize that we have a choice on how to navigate through it and what we want to experience, because our brain is habitual. See, the brain wants to go back to the pain and go back to the old way of dealing with things because either that's how we learned how to deal with it or that's how we trained ourselves to deal with it, right? It's really a combination of both. But if I make a decision that I want to deal with it, from a higher level, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And so I want people to be able to do that with the difficult situations that they're in, it's like, okay, look, this is a really hard situation, but I choose to deal with it with pure joy in my heart
Mhm.
and take good care of myself because that's the only way I'm going to be able to serve anyway.
Well, I just love it because it's full circle to what we started with, which, I was saying, hey, we can't control other people, but what can we do? And we can choose to feel good. We can choose to say, what does feel good? What brings us joy? What do we love? And it's like, yeah, I've been doing it too. I mean, I have my own whatever. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna be happy in this because I can decide how I feel. And I did exactly that. It's like, I'm gonna go for a bike ride, like whatever I'm gonna do. And so it's like,
Yeah,
again, what are those things that connect you? And then what brings you joy? And then as you lift that frequency, guess what? People want to be part of that.
absolutely.
Right. And I bet you anything, I bet you there's science around this. I bet you, as you raised your frequency, I bet your son naturally healed more too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The whole, I've had, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. I would love to take a group of people, like, I would love to do an experiment. I've thought of it so many times, but I'll tell you, I've done work with others and with myself where, I've done clearings and I've, set intentions and, use my oils, transform my brain. And then I walk out to what I was dealing with and it's a completely different scenario. It's almost, it's like everything outside of me shifted into a completely positive frame. It's like, and I've been just like blown away. I'm almost breathless from it. Like, it works.
Yeah. Well, whoever wants to be in Bev's club, email Bev.
And we can move mountains, especially together. We're so powerful together. Oh my gosh. I know that, there's been groups that have been doing like mass meditations and healings, and I feel them. Like, I felt, stuff with the weather change, from, large, like, a couple million people doing prayer. Like, it works. We're powerful. We are so powerful. And that's one thing I love, is to really help people realize that it's like, I can look at anybody and see their goodness when they don't have any idea about it, like, I see the best in people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Well, I just feel like I want to send everybody to you to do that group. To be like, go start that group. And yeah, seriously, like, man, I'm in. Sounds fun. Because it really does work. I mean, that is the intuitive success coaching process, even, right? Like, it's like you become it. And so, of course, your reality is going to be different. And sometimes better than what you could imagine. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you think one thing.
I agree with that 100%. Better than you could imagine. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, when we put an intention, this is the thing. We are so powerful. When we put an intention out, it's not even about, it's not like we have to do a lot, except have faith and have trust.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when we're overthinking things, as far as the law of attractions are concerned, if we put an intention out and then we're stressing about it, we're actually pushing it away. We're pushing that reality away, because now we're saying, I don't really trust or believe what I just asked for. Mm-hmm. But if you ask for something and you're just like, okay, I want this, I'm going to have this, I'm going to experience this, it's happening. Mm-hmm. And then you just leave it. Mm-hmm. And it might not happen. It may not materialize right away. Sometimes it might show up the next day. It might show up that moment. Mm-hmm. But I can guarantee you it will show up. If you just relax and take care of yourself and be happy and keep your vibrations high, it'll come in. When you least expect it, it'll just pop right in your life. You'll be like, there you are. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the key with that is the alignment piece, right? That, like, you're aligned with your intuition and what you want, right? And so when you feel that, it feels right. And then all you have to do is listen to your intuition. It's like left instead of right. And then you're like, oh, there it is. But if you're confused or you're not sure what you want, or you have other people's energy, that's why I love that you brought in the boundary thing, so you can feel your own essence. And then you're like, wow, I'm clear. This is what I want. Awesome. Now here it is,
Okay.
I love that. She's like, yep, that's it. So let's see. I mean, are there any other challenges or ways that you feel you can guide people through any challenges that come up? We've been talking a lot about that, but is there anything else that, you feel guided to? And maybe if you want to share some of the tools you use, the way that you do work with people and
sure.
help.
We can even do a little balancing for everybody.
Sure.
So I'm huge on the brain. Like, I studied the brain for years. I've done biofeedback and neurofeedback for years. The brain has always been my biggest love. And so I love to balance people's brains. And it's one of those things that I usually don't have to do a lot. Some people need it more depending on kind of what's going on with their life. Like the brain. So, we have the left hemisphere and then we have the right hemisphere of the brain, and they actually work independently, but then they do coordinate information. And when we get stressed, when we've been through a lot, basically the brain's like a computer. It goes offline. It switches up. If you're familiar with the emotional freedom technique, which I'm sure you are, where you do tapping to balance emotions.
Yeah, I just don't like tapping my face.
No. But what tapping does is it resets the left and right hemispheres. But you don't have to tap. You can just balance the brain, just with intention and intuition and with your love. So,
let's do that.
Okay, good. All right. So if everybody can just relax for a moment, and just kind of become aware of your breath. Good. Good. And with all the love and light that we are, and that is within the universal field, let's go ahead and let's clear, tune, and harmonize the left hemisphere of everybody's brain. And let's begin. Okay. Okay, good. Now we're going to go to the right hemisphere, and let's clear, tune, and harmonize the right hemisphere of everyone's brain. And let's begin. Okay, excellent. We're going to coordinate and optimize the communication. So the electrical impulses between left brain and right brain, brain stem, and let's begin. Good. We're so grateful for all the ways that this new balanced energy is affecting the spinal cord, every organ, every gland. Good. Every impulse that runs through your being, through your body. Good. Special blessings and healing from the crown of everyone's head to the pads of everyone's feet. Here we go.
You're freaking amazing. You see why I have her on the show, people? Like, she says it and moves freaking mountains inside, right? Like, she's amazing. Yeah, so powerful. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to say anything. Can you just talk?
Oh my God. So good. So good. Yeah, no, I just love helping people. I mean, really, I'm so blessed because I learned really young what I love to do, and I love to help people, and I've been doing it, well, I guess professionally now for over 25 years, and it's just the greatest thing. It's just I don't know anything else I'd rather be doing, because it's just we need each other. We need each other, and if life can be a little easier for somebody, it just makes me so happy, because I know what it's like, to suffer, like, and if we can help each other, like, then the world gets to be, the place we want it to be.
Mhm.
You know, and we create that together. So even when we, you know, help each other and just, right, oh, can I borrow a cup of sugar? You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's
Mhm.
like just being family to want to your neighbor, just being kind, like it all has an effect.
Yep.
It all has an effect.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the one thing I was saying, sorry, my guides are telling me is really quickly, could you touch on how to transform the energy of hate, whether it's within or towards somebody else, into love? Because I think that's so appropriate right now at this time.
Sure, sure. Um, so, well, you know, hate's a really strong energy. Um, and so for some people, it could definitely take some time to, you know, to clean it out, to really deal with it. One of the first questions I would ask myself if I felt hate towards something or someone is, you know, I would ask myself, you know, where does this feeling really come from? That would be my first question. And
Mhm.
and I would write, and I would recommend that you write down what comes up when you ask that question. And you know, some people might have memories of being abused as a child. You know, they might, you know, have other traumas that pop into their mind. They might remember that, you know, that their parents were hateful towards, you know, these you know, whatever it is. And so getting the awareness is everything, and then working with that. um but why don't we maybe go through a little process of letting go of any hate that we might be holding on to? Awesome. So perfect. So, you know, everyone can just bring to mind maybe something that, you know, they feel hateful about, or they feel it makes them angry. So bring that to mind. Yeah, and let's go ahead and start, which is kind of, you know, getting in touch with, you know, what is this energy trying to teach me? Okay. What is it I need to know about what I'm feeling? Where does this really come from? So let's take a moment for that. So so the biggest thing I heard for everybody is that it's a learned behavior, and we do what we see, you know, especially as children, you know, we you know, that's what we do, that's how the brain operates. So let's go to that energy. So to the energy that we learned, this is a learned behavior. All right. And that we're ready to just really like let this pass through us. It's no longer necessary to hold on to it. It's not helping us individually or as a family group. So we're just willing to let the energy pass through and become something soft, okay, something kind, something that empowers you, that gives you the desire to be your very, very best. And then let's also do a general clearing around just all the old emotion and even like interference. So there could be like lower frequencies or, you know, heavy energies involved. So we're going to go ahead and let all of those transform also. So it's like, I don't need to hold this energy anymore. I'm ready to go to the next level. Good. All right. Now let's transform the emotions that you hold against yourself. So any self-hate, self-loathing, judgment, negative energy that you hold towards yourself. Okay. So, and obviously most of that we're not aware of. So we're going to clear that consciously and subconsciously. Good. And let's begin. Okay. Good. So transforming all of that energy into love and light. So bringing the energy full circle, raising the frequencies. Good. So allowing yourself to be the loving being that you are. So being in a state of allowance, a state of neutrality. Good. And then magnifying that energy. And expanding it again and again and again. Good. Good. We choose to be happy, and we choose to feel good, and we choose to treat others with kindness. And so it is.
Wow, thank you, Bev. I feel like, the one thing I want to just bring forth is the word intention with what you just did, because you're so powerful. And like I said, this walk I took before our interview, I started feeling really clear about my intention. I realized a lot of it was because of you, right? Like you were ushering in this new energy. So she just gave us such a huge gift, everyone, like to take intention with what she just did. It's going to magnetize so quick. I can feel it. Like I literally watched my energy transform and I can feel and see things already happening. And I'm like, whoa. So I'm wondering, and this is just a thought that came to me, like, do you train people in what you do? Like how they can work with you one-on-one or learn how to do it? Like how can we invite more group energy?
Yeah. Yeah. I do group trainings. Absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was just like that needs to, if you're feeling called to be in a group and to be held and to learn and to transform, she's here. And like I said, she's been like a family friend for years. So she's so trusted. And I guess I just feel like from the depth of my like gut core, like it's for real. It's such deep integrity and love that guides her work. And so to trust that you are held, that there is a hand reached out to you. And I absolutely know there's no way I could have gotten where I am in my life alone. There's no way. And so I do believe we need each other. And as we walk hand in hand, we do lift each other up. And so just listen where you're feeling called. Again, her email, do you want to share it one more time, Bev? Your email, just, you don't have to spell it, just maybe.
Okay. Yeah. B Montgomery 888 at yahoo.com.
Yeah. And you can also respond to me. I can forward it to her. Like if for some reason you can't get through to her, I know that her website was down last week, but it should be up and running. So, we'll definitely get you that information. And I just feel, Bev, is there anything else that you want to share with our audience this morning or afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world?
Yeah. I mean, I just want people to maintain their hopefulness. I want everybody to know that they can, that they are,
Mhm.
and to just take care of yourselves, and make yourself a priority in a very loving and kind way, and share that, right? Share that with others, because again, the world will transform quicker as we are loving and kind to one another. So um we all have amazing abilities, and I think a lot of people, especially with COVID, and being, having to be at home for so many months, a lot of people are looking at doing new things, like getting more in touch with who they really are. And like, everybody has something special to offer. Every single person has something special, and anybody can move energy. It's just about getting in touch. It's just like exercising. It's just, practice makes perfect. So I just happen to be practicing for a long time. But, now, today, what I had to do to get here, like, you can get there so much quicker, because, consciousness has evolved in that way. So it's like, you're already designed to do it. You're waking up. It's like waking up from a dream and going, okay, I can do all these things, right? I have all this magic in me, right? So use your magic.
Yeah,
That's what I want everyone to know. Use your magic.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like a magic wand on the sky. your dreams with love, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, wow, thank you so much. It's just such a gift to have you here and just to all be a gift to each other, like it is. It's like we all have something special inside of us, and to really take action on that and trust that magic, trust that you do get to have it and you get to be it and live it. It's all here for you. And, if ever in doubt, go to self love instead, right? Like just move into that loving place within, because like there is an answer, and deep down you do know it. And so I think it's like when we really trust ourselves, I think that's one of the biggest things of intuition, is like trusting what we feel and trusting what we know. So,
Yeah, if you want your external reality to be different, and on any level, globally, politically, you have to change your inner reality.
yeah,
Yeah.
to create a loving reality. I love it. All right, everyone, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Intuitive You with Abby Gooch, and for following your intuition to make this world a better place by simply being you.